10 years since the dollar flu ripped through DC and turned the world upside down, and here we are. It was the beginning of the end, but now the coin toss is the end. Whether or not the divisions will finally meet the standards we've been looking for them to meet, or if it's just going to fail to deliver like it's done in the past, is the only question that matters. On April 2nd, they dropped the Rise Up season. They're talking about prototype gear and escalation difficulty, trying to get the community's heart rate up again. But we've lived through the cycle. Is it going to give us something powerful and then just take it away? Or is it finally going to give us something powerful and actually evolve around it? I want a developer that develops. I don't want a developer that develops a game and doesn't listen to their community to develop a better game. Being a developer means you're developing something new or something better. That's what I'm looking for out of Massive, and Ubisoft delivers something better. When you look at the hardware side, the landscape has fractured. Now, you know I'm a PlayStation fanatic. I love my PlayStation, and I've always loved PlayStation, and I've always loved Nintendo. Those are my favorites. And you know what? It's a good thing Sony is positioning itself as a luxury brand. People don't just buy a Lamborghini because it's a good car. They buy a Lamborghini because it's a good car that nobody else can have. That's the vibe. Look at the price tags and the elite posturing. They want the enthusiast with deep pockets who views a console like high-end art. When Marvel's Wolverine lands on September 15th, it's a prestige event. Sony isn't trying to win a popularity contest. They're building a gated community for the elite. Then you have Nintendo, holding down the fort as the child-friendly powerhouse. They don't care about the hardware arms race. They've built the fortress around the family unit. Today, April 14th, the Switch 2 is meeting reality, accessible, vibrant, and safe. With Pokémon Champions already out as of April 8th, they've secured the next generation while the other giants fight for the adults. They aren't playing the same game as Sony, and that's why they're winning their lane. And then there's Xbox. We have to be precise. They failed on the console. They lost the battle for the box in your living room. I always thought Xbox was trash because they always try to outdo PlayStation. They may have called a couple of bodies on PlayStation, but they rarely were able to beat them. I knew Microsoft and their controller was not going to be what it was because the PlayStation controller is probably the prime controller that has always kept the same shape and the same momentum, and it's always been comfortable. That means hours of play with a piece of velvet in your hand lightweight, helping with fighting games, shooting games, adaptive triggers, you name it, the works. Microsoft knows the hardware numbers are a wreck, so they pivoted. Now, it's all about the ecosystem. They don't care if you use their hardware as long as you're trapped in their web. They lost the battle, and they're betting the house that they could still win the war by being everywhere at once. The lines are drawn. Luxury versus family versus ecosystem, and in the middle of it all, we're still waiting to see if Ubisoft can finally stay out of its own way and just develop something better. Because in this game, just like in the Dark Zone, you're either moving forward or you're getting left behind. And you already know the vibe, and Ubis can't be stopped.